Majorca, however you spell it, is special in every way. This Spanish island, the seventh largest in the Mediterranean, is home to more than 900,000 people. The crystal clear water in its beautiful beach coves comes in multiple shades of blue. Its massive mountain range attracts cyclists from all over the world, and its capital, Palma, gives you everything you want from a European city. With so much to see and do, you could easily spend weeks exploring this geographically diverse, culturally rich, history-filled island. But even with just a few days,
A very warm welcome to Palma.
you can experience much of what makes this island the top destination year after year for so many sun-loving, adventure-seeking tourists. I'll give you my 5-day itinerary. I'll show you where I stayed, where I ate, where I drove, where I sailed, where I soaked up history, and where I dreamed of life on a super yacht. First, a little geography. Majorca is just 112 nautical miles from Barcelona. It's Spain's largest island and one of 4 Balearic Islands, which includes nearby Ibiza. You'll arrive at the airport in Palma, Majorca's capital. From London, it was a 2-hour flight. To the north of the island, about a 50-mile drive from Palma, is Alcudia. It's the main tourist center on the eastern coast, a large, family-friendly, port-centered resort. With Old Town nearby, a bus or taxi can quickly take you from the beach to the walled city. Buses can also get you from Palma to Alcudia and most other places on the island. For me, a rental car did the job. I had no problems driving anywhere on Majorca. Right-side driving made it all too easy. And if you're like me and love roundabouts, you'll love Majorca. South of Alcudia, you'll find Manacor, Majorca's second largest city. On the coast, just 9 miles from Manacor, is Puerto Cristo, a quiet, relaxed village centered around a marina. It's popular with beach-going families and bar-hopping tourists. Further south, you'll find amazing beach coves, places your imagination could only dream up, including this one just south of Puerto Cristo, where I had a fantastic meal at a cliffside restaurant overlooking the coastline of my dreams. To the north of Alcudia is Pollença, with the nearby port of Pollença just to the east. Not far from there, a drive out on the Formentor Peninsula brings you to another island landmark, the namesake lighthouse perched high atop the cliffs on the island's northernmost point since 1863. The Sierra de Tramontana mountain range, running from the southwest to the northeast, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Its highest peak is 4,711 feet. The mountain range is home to the Sa Calobra Road, or Snake Road. The name has nothing to do with reptiles, and everything to do with the multiple curves and sharp turns it takes as it makes its way to idyllic Sa Calobra Cove. South of Sa Calobra is Sawyer, and the port of Sawyer. The two are linked by a tramway. Geographically isolated by the mountain range, Sawyer is connected to Palma by an electric, narrow-gauge railway built in 1911 to transport oranges and lemons to the capital. It's often called the Orange Express. Today, it's one of the island's major tourist attractions. About 1 million passengers a year board its wooden cars for the 1-hour trip to Sawyer. I arrived in Palma at the end of April in the low season, weeks before temperatures start to rise and people begin arriving en masse. Like so many places on this island, the Palma airport is built for crowds. It's well designed and efficient, too. My flight landed mid-afternoon. I got through passport control quickly, and in my rental car and on the road to Alcudia in no time. The drive on the divided highway couldn't have been easier. My Alcudia Airbnb was located right in the curve of the beach as it bends around to meet the marina. The 2-room, 3-bed unit overlooked the beach and the marina. I explored my new neighborhood, making my way to the Alcudia sign next to the marina. After browsing in shops, I made a good choice for supper, stopping at Pizzeria Don Vito, not far from my Airbnb. A sea cave adventure and a sunset cruise were the focus of my day 2 on the island. I headed south from Alcudia, passing through Majorca on my way to Cala Romantica and its beach cove, with turquoise water, cliffside restaurants, and summertime lifeguards. It's where I met up with the husband and wife team that led me and several others on a 30-minute hike to a much smaller cove to the south. And there, we struggled into our wetsuits before swimming through chilled water to the sea cave we came to see. After a crawl through an extremely narrow passage, exploration began. Our guides described the cave as we swam, posed for photos, and listened for echoes. I booked this $85 experience through Airbnb. There are a lot of providers who offer similar tours. And the Dratch Caves, nearby in Puerto Cristo, offer a less exertion-filled way to see Mallorca's subterranean world. That afternoon, back in Alcudia, I set sail on a yacht, a typical 1950s-era Mallorcan-built boat that did not disappoint. It's beautifully restored and maintained by a friendly captain who took me and my new friends on a wonderful coastal cruise to a secluded beach. Good conversation, aided by a glass or two of Majorcan wine, led to a captain-prepared meal featuring delicious local dishes and a bit more wine.
Oh yeah, were the two of them, or is it the same one?
I also booked this 3.5-hour experience on Airbnb for about $100. Like most tours, it's available on other sites too. It was a wonderful experience that I would do over and over again. Day 3. Time to see the mountains and the island's most famous road. So passing more cyclists than I've seen in my entire life, I head north to the Sierra de Tramontana mountain range. These long mountain drives and expansive views are reminders of just how geographically diverse this island really is. And for cyclists, nothing could be better. You'll see them everywhere, but especially here on these mountains, making their way to the famous Sacalobra Road. With hairpin curves and a 270-degree spiral bridge called the Knot, this engineering masterpiece, built in 1932, snakes its way down through rocky landscape to Sacalobra's small port and its extraordinary beach cove. It more than serves its purpose, but it was designed to be a tourist attraction in its own right. The road is about 8 miles long with a gradient of 7%. And it'll take you 20 minutes or so to get to the bottom, where you'll find a small parking lot that requires cash payment. From the port cove, you'll walk over to the beach. Later that afternoon, I made my way to the beaches of Peguera on the island's southwest coast. Like every place I've been, it's beautiful, friendly, and clearly built for crowds. I wrapped up the day with supper inside the walls of Alcudia's Old Town. The meal and atmosphere were just what I ordered. But the amazing thing to me was how clean this town is. The streets look like polished ceramic tile. Day 4. Time to swap my beach view in Alcudia for a port view in Palma. I chose this one-bedroom unit solely for that high-rise view. I love boats, but never imagined seeing this many in one place. It's a massive harbor, packed with super yachts from all over the world. The mile or two walk to the city center past these beautiful boats is a great way to start and end the day. There's so much to see and do here. But the must-see is the city's rather large Roman Catholic cathedral. It's one of Spain's most spectacular examples of Gothic architecture, and it more than dominates the city's skyline. Started by King James I of Aragon in 1229, it wasn't completed until 1601. With interlaced flying buttresses and soaring pinnacles, it features the world's largest rose window, known as the Gothic Eye, and 16 side chapels. And there are dramatic views of the bay from entry level and the roof terrace. Twice a year, sunlight enters the Gothic Eye in such a way that its colored image is projected just below the rose window on the opposite wall. This biannual event is called the Festival of Lights. With 87 large windows and a total of 7 rose windows, it's called the Cathedral of Light for good reason. Admission tickets with several tour options are available on the cathedral's website. Mass times vary, but one always takes place at 9 a.m., Monday through Saturday. Right next to the cathedral is the Royal Palace, which dates back to the 14th century. It's the official residence of Spain's king and queen when they're on Mallorca. Together with the cathedral, it's a capital landmark, and you can buy tickets online or in person. You'll get a look at the royal apartments, the Gothic hall used for receptions, the King's Courtyard, and St. Anne's Chapel. A mixture of Gothic and Moorish architectural design give the place its charm. It's a good place to take a break and slow your pace after a visit to the often crowded cathedral. Close to the palace and cathedral is a square filled with restaurants next to a medieval guild hall. I had a couple of good meals here. There's a variety of restaurants to choose from, and it's convenient when exploring Old Town and the harbor. I spent a lot of time walking through this clean, beautiful city. It's rare that I go somewhere and have no complaints. But Palma is that place. It's a city so vibrant, so friendly, so delicious, that I can't wait to get back. My last full day on the island, day 5, and my focus was on the enormous Palma International Boat Show. This below-deck superfan dream experience included 250 boats, most of them Bond villain-worthy super yachts. I've been to lots of boat shows. I've never been to one like this. 271 companies were involved in this harbor-filling extravaganza that featured every boating or water-related item imaginable. And yacht-wise, there was something for everyone. Sailboats, catamarans, cabin cruisers, the superest of super yachts, traditional, modern, sleek, luxurious, whatever's needed, it was there. I have a feeling the timing of my next trip to Majorca might just somehow correspond to the Palma International Boat Show. So there you have it. Those are my 5 days on the island. As island destinations go, my focus has always been on the Pacific. Majorca wasn't on my radar until I saw the Majorca Files during the pandemic. It's a detective show, but really it's more a travelogue for the island. And I couldn't believe how geographically diverse the island appeared on screen. But I am a believer now. Don't hesitate. Go to Majorca. The low season, off season, shoulder season, whatever you call it, was the perfect time for me. But even if you go in the crowd-filled heat of summer, you'll no doubt have a wonderful time. If you like this video, subscribe to my channel, Newsocracy. I've got others like it: Hawaii, French Polynesia, London, and beyond. I'm Jim Albritton, and as always, thanks for watching.